Good morning. I will be presenting an analysis of the Attica prison riots, one of the most significant correctional crises in American history. This case study demonstrates critical lessons in crisis management, communication failures, and the importance of proper planning and evaluation. Over the next several minutes, I will examine how the crisis unfolded, what went wrong, and what we can learn from today. Next slide, please. To understand this event, we need to know what life was like in Attica Prison. It was a high security prison in upstate New York with over 2,200 inmates. The prison was overcrowded and had very poor living conditions. Prisoners could take only one shower a week and got just one roll of toilet paper each month. Most inmates were black or Puerto Rican, while nearly all the guards were white. The racial divide caused a lot of tension. The bad condition made this prison ready to explode, and it only needed one spark. Next slide. The Attica riots were a serious crisis that involved violence, hostages, and major public safety concerns. This wasn't a single event, it grew over time because long standing problems in the prison system. This was mainly a civil disturbance inside a correctional institutional. The crisis developed from several causes. There was systematic neglect, poor living conditions, communications between prisons leaders and inmates that had broken down. This meant that all the frustration went unheard. Racial and social tension also made things worse. Most inmates were minorities and most guards were white. There were no proper ways to inmates to express grievances. The failed negotiation finally triggered the riot. The crisis had several dangerous features. It turned into a hostage situation with 39 staff and civilians held. Around 1,281 inmates joined the riot, making it large and hard to control. There was an armed standoff, putting many lives at risk. The situation became a serious public safety threat that drew national attention and led to major discussions about prison reform. Next slide, please. The crisis began on September 9th when inmates overpowered correctional officers and seized control of the D yard, taking 42 hostages for 4 days. Negotiation took place with a team of outside observers. Inmates presented 28 demands focusing on improved condition and amnesty from prosecution. The critical turning point came from Governor Nelson Rockefeller refused to personally visit the facility or grant amnesty. On September 13th, state police stormed the facility. The assault lasted just 9 minutes but resulted in 39 deaths. Tragically, authorities initially claimed inmates had killed the hostages. However, autopsy revealed all hostages died from gunfire during the police assault. Next slide. The Attica crisis showed many management failures. There was no proper plan for handling a riot this big. Communication failed badly when the governor refused to meet inmates. It showed that negotiations were not taken seriously. Different agencies act without coordinating with each other. Most importantly, prison conditions were not checked in advance. Warning signs were ignored, and inmates had no way to voice complaints. The crisis could have been prevented, but poor planning and weak crisis management let it go worse. Next slide, please. Communication is the most important part of the handling of a crisis. Attica shows what happened when it fails. Inside the prison, there was no clear chain of command. This meant that the negotiators could not make decisions without leader presence. Outside authorities misled the public, falsely saying inmates killed the hostages. In reality, the gunfire caused all the death. This broke public trust and made managing future crises even harder. Good crisis communications need a spokesperson, clear message, transparency, and teamwork. Attica had none of this, and the results were tragic. Let's contrast what happened at Attica with proper crisis management. Evaluation phase. Regular monitoring of conditions would identify problems early. A grievance system would have given inmates peaceful outlets for complaints. Planning phrase. Clear protocols would have defined who makes decisions, And how, give me 1 second, negotiators proceed. Rules of engagement would have been well understood in advance. Execution phase. Trained negotiators with real authority should have been present from day one. Force should have been the absolutely last resort, not a default after 4 days. Every step at Etica broke fundamental crisis management principles, which allowed the situation to escalate tragically. Next slide, please. Attica's legacy is tragic, but it led to important reforms. After the riot, New York improved prisoner conditions and set up formal grievance procedures. Across the country, correction developed hostage negotiation protocols and crisis response teams. Most importantly, Attica showed that ignoring systematic problems and then responding with force only make things worse. The crisis reinforced key principles. Evaluate problems early, plan for different scenarios, and act in ways that protect human life. These lessons still apply today in any institutional crisis. Slide number 9. Today's correctional facilities have learned from Attica's specialized crisis team trained specifically for these situations. Regular audits help catch problems before they get worse. Mental health resources address issues that might lead to violence. These lessons apply beyond prisons to any crisis in corporate, natural disasters, or public safety emergencies. The basics are the same. Evaluate risks early, plan carefully, communicate clearly, and act to protect lives. Before crisis, we should ask, have we prepared properly? Who makes decisions? Can we communicate under pressure? Next slide, please. In conclusion, the Attica prison riots remind us what happened when crisis management fails. 43 people died, not just in the assault, but from years of neglect beforehand. The crisis could have been prevented with proper evaluation, management, with careful planning. It could have also been resolved peacefully through clear communication and execution. Instead, it became one of the bloodiest days in American correction history. From this tragedy came important reforms and lessons that still guide crisis management today. Whether it's corrections, business, government, or any organization, the principle remains the same. There is need to evaluate continuously, plan thoroughly, communicate clearly, and always prioritize human life. That concludes my